Hey, good everyone, it's Chris here from Bayleys. So a little bit of a special one. I'm actually over in Australia today, catching up with Michelle from McGrath about what's happening in the Aussie market. So Michelle, how are you this morning?
Oh, fabulous. It's a beautiful morning here in Sydney. Thank you so much for visiting us. It's so cool to have you on our shores.
Yeah, no, it's cool. Always keen to pop over, and nice new offices for Knight Frank here, which is a choice. And so team, a little bit of background is Bayleys partners with McGrath in Australia, and McGrath and Bayleys partner with Knight Frank globally, and it sort of brings us here at Knight Frank's offices, sitting here with Michelle. Now, Michelle, you're the National Head of Research for McGrath.
I am. I'm very blessed to be looking at all of Australia's residential markets.
So I thought while we're over here today, we'd do something a little bit different this week and just have a bit of a chit chat about the Aussie market, given that a lot of New Zealanders are interested in the market. And in some cases, we've seen it almost like a lead indicator for what might happen in New Zealand. And so, Michelle, what's been happening in the Aussie market? Like, how's the market generally tracking at the moment?
Yeah, look, when you say the Australian market, I mean, it's doing relatively well.
Yep.
We're talking around about 9% annual growth in 2025.
Which is massive, right? Yeah.
It is, especially when there's a lot, when we're talking about media and looking at the economy and so forth, there's a lot of, uncertainty and hesitation around making purchases, but people are still doing it. We're still seeing a lot of transactions happening despite a very low number of listings across the country.
Yeah, which is funny because it's almost the reverse of what's happening in New Zealand. So most parts of New Zealand, we've had quite high listings, and we've had basically steady prices for 12 months.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see that playing out. Now, one of the things that we are quite interested in is just the pricing of the different markets. So what's your sort of midpoint or median house prices over here in Australia?
Yeah, look, if we're talking around a median value, it can really vary from, sort of your 800,000 up to, well over $1 million. And that really depends too if you're talking about a house or an apartment.
Yep.
But when we're talking about, growth that's happened around the country, it's really been our smaller markets. Yeah. And when we're talking about value, what's been attractive is that relative value in the smaller cities compared to the larger cities.
Okay.
And there has been, I guess, an uptick of buyers that are first home buyers, investors that are attracted to that relative value. But what we've seen over the last, 12 months, 18 months, 24 months is that relative value is fast becoming on par with, Sydney and Sydney prices, essentially. So it's kind of losing its edge when we're talking around value.
And so, because Sydney over here is obviously the most expensive market generally. Is that kind
Absolutely.
of? Yep.
Absolutely. It's we're essentially landlocked here. We're in a situation where we're not seeing a huge amount of listings coming to market, so it is keeping prices elevated. It's interesting because Sydney certainly has the jobs available.
Yep.
It's just that cost of living. And we've kind of reached that tipping point now where it is really difficult if you're an essential service, whether you're a police or nursing or a teacher, to actually live close to where you work.
Yep.
And that's a problem. And we're essentially seeing families, uproot and move to the more northern states.
And so that's quite a good segue into some of the recent sales, right? So sales snapshot for the week. So we're looking at a couple of recent sales around Australia, and these are around the midpoint for each of the markets or for Australia.
We were talking about this earlier, and I think it's a really good demonstration of how it can vary quite significantly just from even our three largest capital cities.
Yep.
Like
so
if we're
first
talking
up, you got
about,
one in Brisbane?
Yeah, Brisbane. Look, Brisbane, this was a McGrath sale, 23 Hart Street in Lawnton, designed for contemporary living, 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, 2 cars. Look, a newly constructed home, ideal for investors, owner-occupiers, open plan, that alfresco dining that people really enjoy. It was marketed by Aaron Raj from McGrath North Lakes. It was sold for $1,021,500, a little bit of a tongue twister there, but that's really close to what we would see as the median value for Brisbane.
Yep. And then shooting into Sydney, obviously, you're in a different product type, right?
Absolutely. And you spoke about, the fact that our median price is much higher in Sydney, so it would really just extend to an apartment when we're talking around the median price for residential here. And looking at this sale here of apartment 2310 at 10 Atchison Street in St Leonards. It's a walk to everywhere type lifestyle with skyline views, 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 2 cars, a modern apartment on the 23rd floor. It's in the air development and central to train and also the metro. This property was marketed by Ray Liu from our crow's nest offers, and it was sold very, like I said, very close to the Sydney median value. And then down in Melbourne, looking at this sale at 905 of 18 Yarra Street in South Yarra. It's sophisticated inner city living with panoramic views of the Melbourne CBD skyline, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 1 car, located on the 9th floor, premium appliances and a private terrace, sold by Brian Molden from McGrath, South Yarra. That sale price of $875,000 is pretty much on par with that median value. So you can certainly extend your money much further in the city of Melbourne.
If you're looking to buy over here, how does the market generally function? Like you mentioned, realestate.com.au and domain.com.au as the sort of 2 main platforms.
Absolutely. But essentially on those portals, it's in most cases there's a guide there as to how much it would
so you get like a price guidance.
It depends, it varies in each state as to what they're required to provide, but in most cases there's a nice guide for you to understand where the market is.
And so then flip side, so you've got sort of the sales market, but then the rental market. How's that in a nutshell at the moment? Like, it looks quite strong in Sydney, but I couldn't really tell.
Look, it depends, I guess, what end we're talking about. We're talking about availability.
Yep.
It's incredibly tight.
Yep.
Our balanced market here is about 3% vacancy. I'm not sure if that would be similar for New Zealand.
Yeah, it'd be about the same, yeah.
So we've been travelling at about 2% across Australia, and that hasn't changed too much. I mean, obviously there was a bit of a blip with COVID, but really we're incredibly undersupplied in, I would say, almost every market, every city, and in our regional areas as well.
And so you see the social media stuff for people like lining up to do inspections. Is that reasonably accurate in some areas?
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's obviously having a flow-on effect to rents as well.
Yeah, because I read your, we've been watching your reports from New Zealand, and it looked like a lot of areas are sort of 5+% growth in rents. Is it?
Without a doubt. That's I would say that's probably on the lower end if we were looking at a range around the country. Absolutely. We've got some really good research there that are really easy to use and digest and make comparisons, especially if you are coming from another country to buy in Australia. It just can vary so much.
Yeah, so we'll link those reports in the description because they are really interesting, and like Michelle says, they give a very clean snapshot of what's happening in the different cities. So look, to wrap up, Michelle, what we do Property of the Week, right? And mate, you've got 2 properties for us. So do you want to talk through the first one?
I'll talk through the first one because I reckon this is pretty ideal for a New Zealander that's potentially looking to buy something here in Australia, but predominantly on the Gold Coast. This is a McGrath listing. The apartment is 2603 at 4 Como Crescent in Southport, actually known as the Marina Building. It has uninterrupted broadwater and ocean views from every room, including the bedrooms. And there's 2 bedrooms, there's 2 bathrooms and a car base. And that's currently offers over $1,049,000. And to contact Adam McCubbin from McGrath Southport for that one. Absolutely stunning views.
And mate, you've suggested one for me. So this is 17 Crescent Street in Hunters Hill in Sydney. So north-facing deep waterfront home with private jetty and views, 4 beds, 2 baths, 3 cars, tucked away in a tightly held peninsula, combines timeless architectural detail, technology and expansive outdoor zone. So price guidance on this, Michelle, where are we sitting at?
Look, I would expect it to be somewhere over 11. Maybe 11.5 million would be the guide for this home. Yeah,
so right at that sort of top end of the market. So if you want to learn more about this, contact Matt Ward from McGrath Hunters Hill. So team, with that said, we're going to wrap this little video up here. So thanks for having a chat, Michelle. It's been great to catch up.
Look, it's so good to have you over this side of the ditch.
Yeah.
And we should do this more often.
Yeah, 100%.
Looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, no, cool. And so team, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys next week. Ciao.
See you.